Welcome to the Gallery Guitar. We've got a guest in this evening, which is fantastic. Welcome to Miles McConnell.
Thanks very much. What a pleasure to be here, Matthew.
Thank you very much. It's great you could drop in. An amazing coincidence of the gallery locating to Belfast was that I bumped into an old friend, someone that I hadn't seen for many years.
Yes.
Last time was in Scotland, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, back in 2018.
Okay.
So we first met, I believe, the year prior in Carrion de los Condes with Rene Izquierdo's event that he does there in Spain.
Yes, the Camino.
Camino.
Yeah, amazing.
A wonderful, intimate, lovely little workshop.
Yeah, great.
And but then, of course, your wonderful guitar retreat the year after that I attended.
Yeah, that's right. I'd
yes,
forgotten.
yes.
Yeah, I'd forgotten almost about Rene's cool event in Spain, which is an amazing guitar course, where like all of the students are doing all the performing and all the concerts, which is great. And then you're in Belfast, you're only in Belfast for a few more days, right?
Yeah, so I've been here in Belfast for the past year.
Yeah.
And it's been a great experience. I was doing a master's course at Queen's University in Arts Management. So it was kind of interesting because I had, done graduate studies in guitar already. That's been several years. So, but then coming back to school to do a different kind of thing that's, of course, music related and wanting to kind of branch out and explore the business side and kind of the nonprofit world and all of those kinds of things that, sometimes when we're in performance, we're a little bit tunnel vision.
Yeah, of course.
It's important that we immerse ourselves in music, but I think for me at least, I was kind of wanting to also, explore some of this other stuff. So this was a good way for me to do it.
That's great.
And I was fortunate enough to just be able to do it. But then meanwhile, Belfast is a really great city.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
And so much things happening. I mean, it was great to meet you. And I mean, you've probably just heard Miles play. Or if you haven't just come from Miles's little performance, little concert that he did for us tonight, go and check it out afterwards, because it was a little collection of Celtic tunes, which is obviously inspired by your time here in Ireland and also your time, maybe I would say as well, over in Scotland a few years hence, so that's great. But yeah, I mean, you must have had Queen's is a great university, a
Definitely
really beautiful place to study. But what about the Irish culture that you picked up?
Oh, it was lovely. Well, a fair bit of Guinness, of course, and and a little bit of the pub scene, particularly with the sessions. The traditional music sessions is something that I wanted to just kind of listen to, and was fortunate enough to be kind of brought in. I started to learn a little bit. Of course, I've been mostly, really a classical player for a long, long time, and not even done a ton of like plectrum or pick playing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then the accompaniment stuff in the traditional style, you have to be very flexible with all that kind of stuff.
So there is, and of course, as you well know, over in this part of the world, I mean, this is the mecca of that kind of music, and these musicians are many of them are incredible, and they're up to their ears in it, and they've been doing it their whole life, and so I wanted to respect that, but I wanted to learn, and I was very much, I think, encouraged in many ways. Yeah. So that was just a fun part of that. Yeah.
It's a very free scene, isn't it? I mean, like to go along to sessions and just sort of join in. And get used to it and take your time and play yourself in. I think it's really lovely. Yeah.
But you got to learn the tunes, and there's so many to learn. But you also develop the ear for it, and you develop like you sort of recognize the patterns, just like with classical and with any style, I suppose you learn how every piece has to be given its attention, but at the same time you start to see the commonalities between pieces of music or tunes, and you start to pick up the patterns and that kind of stuff also.
And you found some classical players here as well. It's not just traditional music. There's a classical guitar society here in Belfast. There's stuff happening, which is nice. You got involved with all that when you were over here
I did, yes, very much so, and was fortunate to be sort of embraced by the Guitar Society, who was a wonderful group of real guitar aficionados and guys and people, men and women and folks who really just have a deep appreciation for the guitar. And
it's nice, isn't it? A few of them would come over to the guitar retreat. I mean, before we met in Spain and before you came over to the classical guitar retreat in Scotland, I'm sure quite a few members had, you know, crossed over the water and come and tried that too. But it's nice to see a good scene over here. It's really encouraging. You know,
well,
really
and I think now that you're here and that you've brought the gallery here, that I who knows what I think.
I think there'll be a lot of things to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, there's a lot of talent in Belfast, and also, you know, talent that's gone abroad and probably going to come back and drop in and stuff like that. There'll be a lot of things planned in the next little while. So listen, tell us about that little set of tunes that you put together, because okay, you brought your classical guitar, but you also brought a steel string guitar to the show, and I think it might be the first time a sort of steel string acoustic has made its way onto the gallery of guitar, but it's not gallery of classical guitar, so that's okay, it's fair game.
Cool.
But you might be the first, you know,
Very
to bring
good.
a steel string. So tell us about these three little tunes that you put together.
So I played a piece by Turtle Carolyn, who I'm sure a lot of the viewers will know was a blind Irish harpist who was actually contemporary of Bach's, of Johann Sebastian Bach. It's kind of amazing because this music, I guess it does have some Baroque qualities, but it's really a thing into itself to my ear.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it kind of stands alone, I think, his body of work. Of course, there are other Irish harpists, I believe, who are his contemporaries, but I think he's sort of the really dominant figure in that.
Famous,
and so many lovely tunes. So I actually discovered this particular tune from a recording of all things by the Boston Pops Orchestra with Keith Lockhart, with this sort of very like highly stylized, very lushly orchestrated version.
Mm-hmm.
But really, just something about the melody kind of really captured my attention.
Okay.
And I thought, well, that's a nice tune, and one that I had not really. This one, Planxty Burke.
Oh, Planxty Burke. Yeah.
A few of his tunes are really well known, like.
We can't think of any now.
Well,
that's what always happens. Like, you know.
She Bag She More is like a really famous one, and there's many of them.
In that Baroque style, O'Carolan's Concerto is really nice.
Yes, that's right.
That's a really nice one as well. I mean, there's so many good tunes by O'Carolan. It's like, you know, you could get lost in it.
Yes,
you know?
yes. So that was that one, and that's my own little arrangement that I kind of tried to. I think when I'm playing a piece that's sort of a little bit outside of the classical guitar realm, you know, I want to try to respect the tradition and really pay attention and listen to. So I tried to find traditional musicians. I found a great version by the Irish group Clannad.
Oh yeah.
And with the harp and everything, and try to pick up just little inflections, but also realizing for me that when I play music like this, that it is still kind of a stylized thing, and it's making it into a classical guitar piece. So there's an
adjustment happening. There's something happening there. Yeah.
Right, but it's but I think you're for me, I'm also trying to capture kind of the spirit of that sort of.
Yeah, but I know you, and you do. There's an intimacy with the classical guitar that really lends itself to this sort of repertoire. Like, you know, I mean, I know that it came from that Boston Pops, maybe that first, you know, like inspiration, and it is musically verbose a thing, like Rococo. It's like just too much. It's like, what is going on here? It's too stylized. But then on the guitar, the intimacy and the simplicity of these arrangements, it's so effective. You know, I think the music actually doesn't. It's like the music's indestructible. It can take any extreme of interpretation. Kind of stuff, you know? But you play it beautifully. It's really nice. So you've Planxty Burke, and then what else did you?
So then the Wild Mountain Time, which of course I think many classical guitarists will know this very beloved and rightfully so arrangement by Scott Tennant.
It's gorgeous,
and it's such a lovely setting of the tune. Which is also known by the name Go Lassie Go. And
also another one, Braes of Balquhidder.
Okay,
there's a little argument. There's an argument over here: is it
Scots
or is it Irish? The McPeak family here, sort of taking ownership of it. But the Braes of Balquidder is a tune that predates it by about 100 years.
Okay,
and it's the same melody and it's everything. And the Braes are, you know, the sides of the mountain.
Yes.
So there's a bit of a fight between Braes of Balquidder, Wild Mountain Time, Will She Go, Lassie Go. I mean, it's like, you know, a good tune. People always fight over a good tune.
Yes,
you know?
yes. So with this one, I thought to give it just a little bit of a different flavor than maybe guitarists who may know this arrangement. to kind of bring something a little bit different to it, I thought it would be nice to play it on the steel string, because you get all that resonance and that sort of those tones that kind of ring through, and it gives it a whole different quality. I guess you could say maybe in a different way it's a little more harp-like. I don't know.
It certainly sustains more like a harp, but I think it's got that lovely kind of bleeding between the notes, the little dissonance sometimes with the overhangs, and there's an atmosphere with the steel string guitar for ballads that is different. It's less maybe about the touch of the nail and the softness of attack, which it is with classical, and it's more about leaving things to resonate, like you were just saying, leaving things to sort of have their gravitas in the sound. So it was great. It was fun for me recording a steel string guitar for one of the first times. It was great.
It's fun to play it too, because I really didn't even play steel string at all until quite late into my life as a guitarist. I really started as a young child with classical guitar because my father is a serious amateur, so that's kind of how I started. I know a lot of people, especially in the States, will come to classical guitar from other styles, but I was sort of the opposite of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually very rare. I mean, most people are in the dark side, we pull them to the light. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, my father had sort of done a bit of that, I believe, himself before. So, but then, I actually came to steel string by virtue of having, when I was doing a lot of teaching myself, having a lot of students show up, beginner guitar students in different levels and people with steel string, and sort of thinking, maybe I should get one myself.
So you want to be able to sort of show and tell on the instrument that they're playing.
Exactly.
I think sometimes the things that we do as guitar teachers, it's quite interesting. You jump through a lot of hoops, you wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, this is true.
Depending on what people want to learn, and it's such a great instrument for getting people engaged in music. It was lovely to have this.
It's been great.
Nylon and steel contrast in this little video performance, that you made. So your third tune.
And then the third tune is a song called Spancel Hill, which is a very beloved Irish song. It's what I think they would call an immigrant song. So it's kind of the lyrics about someone who's gone over to America, like maybe during the famine or something that, and they're sort of like longing for home and the lament of a lost love across the sea and all that stuff. So I think that now this particular arrangement is by John Losberg, I believe. I'm not sure. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But and it's a simple arrangement, but it's really nice because in the second half he brings in, he drops the melody down an octave to the bass, and then he's got this different texture of the arpeggios. So it kind of gives it a little more forward motion, which I think actually helps kind of capture some of the emotional drama that you have in the lyrics, but now without the lyrics, you still kind of, you feel like, wow, there's something here that's kind of, there's something to this.
I mean, it's a funny thing about arranging these kind of tunes they often have a sort of ABA structure, they often have kind of like maybe 3 or 4 chords. They're not particularly complex harmonically, but they're beautiful, and the melodic hooks are like so good. I mean, some of these songs, they will just never leave your ear. I mean, I think Spancel Hill is gorgeous melody, but also Wild Mountain Time. I mean, these are timeless melodies. So they can be set in all sorts of different ways, and it is nice to see an arranger come at something from a different approach. To try and express it differently on a repetition or something. So it was nice to hear a bit of sophistication in the arrangements, because it doesn't always happen with the treatment of these old tunes, So it was great. Well, it was amazing. It was a joy to have you come in, and it's I'm lucky to catch you, because actually he's about to get on a plane and fly back to the US. So your time in Ireland is coming. In a few days you're flying to Florida, right?
This is right. This is right.
Different kind of climate. You're going
Indeed.
The beginning of autumn really here, which has started for sure. And get over there to some heat.
That's right.
Well, listen, it's been fantastic. I'm glad you could drop in before you go. And now you've got to take your nice Martin guitar and all your nice guitars away and make sure they get to America safe.
Yes, indeed.
But Miles, it's been a pleasure to have you just drop in, the first guest.
My pleasure.
That's made it to the gallery.
Well, what a great place. And I know this is just the beginning for you here. So I wish you all the best with everything. And I'm going to be, like I know everyone will be kind of waiting for the next video of yourself playing and all the guests and interviews and all the stuff you got coming. So look forward to it.
Smashing. Well, safe travels home.
Thank you very much.